Friday. We like Fridays.
Yeah, for sure. This is another historic live. I'm gonna call it before we even start off. This is another
Mhm.
You're live on YouTube though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is another historic live that we're going to bring, and we're going to talk about a lot of different topics tonight, and most of it is going to be based around Acre Boyzz Farming. If you don't know, our new product that is dropping this Sunday on the 15th, something that's been long awaited, something that was actually brought to us to some degree. People ask us, okay, well, actually, once you actually get the land and I want to keep it, what can I actually do, right? What can I do to make income? And we started all sitting around and brainstorming and thinking about the things that actually can be done on that land. And a couple of those things we want to go over, especially with food, with chickens, with cows, and all of this stuff, because everybody understands and knows right now self-sustainability is a thing. If you're looking at the news at any point in time, there's a lot of things that are going on. There's nothing that's going to be more powerful than land and being able to feed yourself based off of your own resources.
Well, I certainly concur with this this message. It's funny where life takes you, because who would have thought two boys from New York would be now releasing a how to farm program. And it's not that we are the instructors of the program.
Right.
And that wasn't on our radar screen. So you don't know what you don't know. Most of you, right? Most of you, this is a good thing for you. You just don't know it yet. Some of you do know, but the ones that don't know, you never know. If you're listening to this right now, if you're listening to this live, this is a sign from the universe that this is where you should be headed to. This is the direction that we need to go to. See, I'm a data person. Acre Boyzz are data men. We pull data. If you pull the data of this culture, of this race, and when we were doing more better and our finances was better, we were in more ownership of land and farms, right? When we were, the data says this, not my opinion. We're heavy on the data. This is not my opinion. When we own land and farms, our finances was in the financial department, we were doing a lot better.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. To speak to what you said real quick, Ray, I heard this thing that I like. They said, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans, but what you think you're going to be doing.
That's right. The beautiful thing is that timing is everything, right? And I know we all of us got a chance to see the Shadua Sanders situation, and we all had our opinions or whatever. And there's always a silver lining in everything, right? And so you hear Shadua's interviews after training camp. He's crazy positive. Like you think he was supposed to be at this spot. He's not harping on I should have been this, I should have been this, right? And I think that's what is allowing the success we're having right now. We know this timing is bigger than us. And all we got to do is just play our part.
For sure.
But the timing is perfect. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on in the world? What's going on in America? I mean, like, we might need to be at a pull from our gardens tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
And I give you this quote. I heard this quote this week. It said, start now. Time's running out. So I'm going to do it in 3 weeks. I'm going to do it. You better start now.
Yeah, for
3
sure.
weeks, you don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks. But if you start now, you can figure some things out along the way. But that starting piece, you already got that out the way. So
start. You know what
now.
that's called? That's called diminishing intent.
Come on now.
Right? You meant to join the Acre Boyzz a year ago.
Right.
Many of you are going to mean to join this farming program on Sunday once it drops. We're only accepting the first 100. We have to, let's just put that out there. And that's not because we want to be selfish and not give this to everybody. That's because this is a brand new program, right? And we want to make sure all our systems are running correctly for everybody. We want to make sure everybody gets this and everything is intact. So we're going to cut it off, cap it off at 100, see how the day goes, and then we'll discuss about opening enrollment at a later date. So the first 100 people in, service them first to make sure to get a flow of what our classes will be like, what the questions are that's coming into the community. And we want to hear what your thoughts is of the overall program. We had the privilege to actually not only film the program, but put ourselves in position to be like test dummies for it. Mm-hmm. And if you can teach me, because I know nothing about farming, like if you can teach me, it is very simplistic. And I've learned things on the way already. Like we always mention, we did the video on the grow bags. I learned about trial, how deep to put the trowel in the dirt and all of those things. And all it takes for certain things to grow, certain sunlight.
Speak that talk, Ray. Speak that talk.
Oh yeah, I'm getting it, brother.
Come on.
And you know,
I learned all of this stuff.
When you say put yourself in position, you all just saw it. Our farm has put us in a position to where things are always happening. People need space. Sure. You know, people need a level of expertise. And so literally I can sit at home sometimes and make money by just being at home. Right. And that's not a bad place to be. Now, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, let me turn it off.
Let me cut you off, because I say this a lot when we go live, right? We're not the individuals or the brothers that's preaching from theory. We're not going and finding things and bringing stuff to you, that stuff that we Googled up. When we're talking about three individuals that's inside of the game with you, this is what you're looking at. Acre Boyzz, when it comes to buying and selling land, we do that 7 days a week. When it comes to farming, he's not renting a farm. He's not doing this sometime. He lives on a farm. Right now, his farm is being utilized as we're doing this live. The background that you see is his farm. His farm is making money right now. There's an event going on his farm right now. That's why we call it farming for profit, right? And when you have the land, because now we know this is why we put this whole program together. Land and farm goes hand to hand. So he has the land, it's on 31 acres, and he has the farm on it. Not every bit of the land, every piece of the 31 acre is being utilized as a farm.
Correct.
So the acreage, he's smart enough to say, let me rent that out for horse trails and horse rides and for bounce houses. And he's making a few thousand without even having to oversee it.
That's right.
Just on a lease for the day.
Yeah.
And that few thousand is covering mortgages, car notes, and everything else. So this is why we get so excited when we start talking about this, because we truly want to bring something to the people that they can tap into and benefit from. And when it comes from the land side, I mean, if you've been following us for any substantial amount of time, clearly we could put you in position to find any piece of land across the country. Today, I was doing some homework on land banks. If you was inside of the community with us, that's why we talk about the importance of the community, because I share this with my community. We're not the holders of the information. All right. We're not gatekeepers, but there is a fee and access. You have to have an access point to get the information, because we can't personally go out and give one-on-ones for everybody. Right. And we don't want to be compensated for our time, energy, and efforts. Like doing a live right now, it takes time, energy, and effort. I know when we get off of this call, Pat has another engagement. So he took his time, his energy to stop and have this conversation, to bring it to other people who can hopefully reap the benefits of something positively said on this call. So I was looking at a land bank today. And if you know anything about how land banks function, most land banks want you to revitalize the property. If it's a structure, if it's a house, if it's a building, if it's vacant land, they want you to build on the property and do something with it. But they'll give it to you for dirt cheap. And these land banks, they're giving homes away less than $25,000 in some areas that has good foundations. They're giving lots away, some areas $600, $1,200. So when it comes to, it's a certain land bank right now, I'm not going to even give it away which one it is. This one lets you take the lots, and if you want to use it to grow vegetation on it, it's okay. You won't be able to sell it. They don't want you to sell it because they want to revitalize the neighborhood. That's usually what a land bank is designed for. But this particular one, if you tell them you have to put in an application stating what you're going to do with the lot. If you state, I want to put a neighborhood farm or community farm, they'll let you for less than $1,000. Wow. And that's why you have to be on the inside with people that's doing these things on a high level, that have the knowledge and the expertise, so we can impart this stuff into you. Or let's play devil's advocate, or you can spend your time, effort, and energy and go and find it for yourself. Then it'll be free for you.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. You know, I think
there's no price to pay though.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes one of the major things that is a stumbling block for most people is something called common sense. Common sense is a jail sometimes. Sometimes, think about this, right? Anybody that's listening right now, anything that is done that's very common gets common results, right? It's the things that you do that uncommon that get the results that most people actually want to have, right? Sometimes common sense could put a jail on you, right? So some people have conventional and unconventional approaches to doing things, right? I've never seen anybody do something conventional that does not get conventional results. When you become unconventional, that's when those results that you really want to have happen inside of your life, that's when those results actually come forward to you, because you're doing something that is outside of that box, right? You know, and one of the things that I heard, you know, a long time ago, right? Guy said, you know what, everybody's being positive, whatever the case may be. He said, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. But he said, yeah, but what if it's a train? You see, you know what I mean? If it's a train, you talk about disaster. So what I'm saying, what my whole point about saying all of this is, right, we have to understand that you have to think outside of the box if you want to get something different. If you're struggling inside of your environment financially, whatever the case may be, this is what you call a top indicator that you have to do something new. The old you can never qualify for new results. It doesn't work that way. You have to do something different. Even when we're talking about what we're ingesting inside of our bodies. When most people hear about farms, right, they may think of 100 acres or whatever the case may be. But inside of this curriculum, what we're going to do is show you from the smallest spaces to if you have hundreds of acres of land and different things like that. So I don't want everybody to think because we're talking about farming can be, you know, a sense of high level gardening. It could be just you doing herbs, could be tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that everybody is going to go ahead and completely replace everything that they had out of the store. But what I am telling you is you can start to slowly implement those things that you're buying, and at least you know where it's actually coming from. And everybody can do this, right? A lot of people online are doing a lot of different things. And one thing is that the Acre Boyzz, the principal farmer, Acre Boyzz Farm, we're giving you real tangible things that you can actually put in place, not tomorrow, but today. And that's the difference, right? Everybody can go outside based off of Patrick's teaching and go outside and plant something. Go outside and start to go ahead and put themselves in a position where they can actually start receiving the fruits from their actual labor. I mean, literal fruits too. Fruits from their labor and all other things. So this is what we have to understand, y'all. Tap into something that's already working. We already understand that our bodies, input and output, right? Input controls output. You know what I mean? And once we understand that, then we put ourselves into a position of growth. And that's what Acre Boyzz Farming is doing. And it's not just about the farming, it's about us growing as people too as well. Because inside of this, you'll be around like-minded individuals who think the same like you. One of the major things that I see from a lot of people, especially in our DMs and comments, they say, well, I don't have anybody like y'all to talk to or whatever the case may be. That's a clear sign that maybe you have outgrown your friend group or whatever place that you're in, and switch that environment to get to somebody who's doing something completely different. If you want something different, you've already maxed out probably where you are. The only way for you to break out of that is to make your norm something completely different than what you're actually used to. You know what I mean? So that's my success on that.
Let's go. What I just like to add this. My father told me one time, he said, son, sometimes you're in the HOV lane and you're not making progress. You got to pull all the way over to the right in the slow lane, let some people pass you by so you can get back in the HOV lane and make the progress at the speed that's good for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Inside of our course, we're going to break down this farming to where everybody can grow at the same speed. See, some people get on here and say, I did this, but they can't teach you.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to teach you so that you're able to now go at your own speed, but you got the foundation. Right. And that's the part that's important. So like today, you all, I had 23rd grade, never been on the farm. These are my wife's students, so we treat them at the end of the school year. They get a chance to spend the day at the farm with the principal farmer and the teacher farmer. And they read a book to them. I did the hay ride with them. I put them on the horse. Then we took them to the orchard first. We talked about the pears, and there was a dad with them, right? And I'm saying, oh, this is a pear, this is an apple, this is a blueberry, whatever. And I took the pear and I bit it. He was like, oh my God, son, don't bite yours. We got to go wash it off. I said, hey, y'all, you're at the farm. There's no chemicals out here, right? We can wash it off, but if we do wash, we're gonna wash it off on well water. But it's okay if you get a little dirt in your system sometime, right? So then we went over to so the child was upset because the child wanted to bite the pear anyway. So we go over to the garden. We're picking mint, we're picking basil. I said, hey, try this, try this, try this. So the little boy kept holding his stuff because his dad. Now his little girls with me, man, they eating everything. They ate the whole pear. The pear gone. Right. They pulled mint. They tried all kind of stuff. So we pulled some yellow crooked neck squash. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then we come over here to the cucumbers, you all. So the cucumbers are my favorite. So we take the cucumber and I give everybody a cucumber, all the children, and I bit into the cucumber. I said, man, and you can see the water, like coming out the cucumber. Right. So all the girls instantly bit theirs. Before that little boy's dad could say something, he done bit into that cucumber. If you saw that face, that smile on his face, he was like, right. This tastes so good. And I'm using that example to say this. We've been so far removed from what's natural, right? That we have become unnatural in just our practices. Mm-hmm. I'm outside right now, you all. I did have my boots on, but my boots are on the ground and my socks is on the grass, right? Yeah, right. And it's okay. I don't have to worry about it. I'm grounding at the same time I'm working. Sometimes you need to put your toes on the grass and just feel it, man. When the last time you felt the earth on your feet? Mm-hmm. Right? We always got on shoes and wood bottoms and this and that kind of stuff. So we have to experience and get back to that natural setting. And when you do, you feel so much relaxed. Your stress goes down. And then you can enjoy the elements and appreciate it. So there's other aspects to just getting out in the fresh air and breathing the fresh air and eating something fresh. Where they didn't have to go on a truck for 25 days and then sit in the back of the grocery store for 10 days before they bring it out, to you. No, you're able to get it fresh as soon as it's ready on the vine.
Yeah, for sure. And it reminds me of, limitations are often imposed by your environment. Always. And the children, everybody are always learning, right? They had this concept that I was thinking about before, right? And it was talking about how 95% of the people live, but they have never they exist, but they don't live. And they was talking about that in the sense of because all the decisions that they think they're making are really subconscious decisions of the actual environment. They said most people go through their whole life and never make organic decisions whatsoever. And part of that story, what you just said, reminded me of the restriction is often imposed by the parents, and usually it's something that they went through in their life that they're passing down to the next generation. And one of the major things about that, right, where most people say, and you hear about adults and different things like that, the best question that a child could ask is why. And when you can't answer the why, that's because most times you hear in my environment, it was like, because I said so. That's not really an answer, though. That's not an answer. You can't even elaborate on what you're saying because you probably don't know. It's some kind of trauma that you had inside of you. And if I'm not lucky, I'm going to pass it down to the generation that's coming after me. And I may not even consciously know why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So it's part of programming. That's all.
Jay, if I could just touch that point for just a second. Mm-hmm. So I had a baby lamb. And the lamb mother died or whatever. And so I bottle fed the lamb. Right. So 2 hours old, like I'm daddy lamb. So the baby's first 2 months of life, I'm the only person that's giving that lamb nourishment. Mm-hmm. So the lamb doesn't fear this human because that's what the lamb knows this is safety. Now, I have kittens that actually sleep, and they were born inside the dog kennel.
Right.
So their mother nurses them right next to a big old dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't know that that dog is supposed to be danger because the mom has not said this is danger yet.
That's right.
So
That's
the
right.
dog is just a big cat in their mind.
Right.
Well,
right.
and we impose fear on our children because we have been placed in situations by our parents to where we're hesitant in doing things because mama said don't do this. We got to get back to as close to a natural setting because some things that we have been made afraid of are actually good for us. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Black folks don't eat watermelon in public. Everybody get their watermelon, take it home. You don't see nobody bust it right outside the grocery store and cut it up and eat it, right? And that's because they had all these Sambo pictures and all that kind of stuff. But guess what? Melanated people, watermelon is very beneficial to us. And we should be eating as much watermelon as we can. But because we don't want the stigma of being seen eating watermelon, then we actually consume less watermelon than we could because we're waiting to get in the comfort of our homes where the camera's off and the shades are down, and we sit there eating that watermelon so we don't appear in our minds to look like Sambo or whatever the name of that man they had the picture of.
Right,
but
right.
Look at that fear, that trauma that we have for something that's natural. It's just a piece of fruit. But we're scared to eat that fruit. So we got to get back to the removing the stereotypes. Their stereotypes are forming. You got to be dusty, dirty. Man, my wife is not that kind of lady.
Right.
My wife lives on a farm with cows and all kind of stuff, but she is as fancy as you can be. Okay.
Right. I'm going ahead and let the cat out the bag for everybody. When it comes to this farming thing, for me and Jay, we're going to be what we call boutique farmers.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we can have some very nice boots on the ground. They ain't got to be toes up and stains and stuff. No. We got to make it
if we could, right? Because I want this to relate to somebody that's on this live right now. Can you take us back to early stages when you first got into farming, some of the difficulties that you encountered when you first were looking to become a farmer and things like that, your first couple of years? Can we go there and have a conversation about that?
Absolutely. I mean, someone asked me the other day what was the one of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome on the farm, and my response was doubt and fear. Okay, and the reason is doubt and fear is I didn't know, and I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I didn't know how to use a lot of these tools as necessary on the farm. I just didn't know. And sometimes there's moments where you couldn't Google, right? I remember the first time I hooked up the trailer and I went to get some cows. I didn't know how to bag up with the trailer.
Right.
And so the man is looking at me like, he's like, oh, bag it up right there and we're going to put the cows in the thing, right? And after about 35 minutes, the man came. I said, man, I'm going to drive your truck because I just didn't. So I just didn't know what I didn't know. And but I didn't let it impede my progress. I came home where it wasn't a necessity, and I bagged the trailer up and down the road because I didn't want that embarrassment again, right? I didn't know when I went to the auction in a 3-piece suit because I'm principal, and I went midday, and the people looking at me like, who is this dude, the 3-piece suit at the auction? I just didn't know that was auction protocol. Right. Now I'm sitting there with some multi-millionaires that's buying 50 and 60 cows at a time, but they in overalls, got on a hat, dirty shoes, whatever. I just didn't know. I didn't know that sunflowers and okra were the easiest thing to grow. It was just on sale at the seed store, and I bought those packs. And I came home, and I was as excited as I could be, and I grew a lot of sunflowers and a lot of okra. But I just didn't know. And so just doubt. And then the fear part Just to be straight honest with you all, I invested my savings because I believe like it was the right thing to do, but I had to make an investment, right? And then it was like, if this investment don't pay off, my fallback is nothing. Right?
Correct.
So there were some nights where I was like, man, okay, I'm feeding these cows and it's fun. And people come by and say, oh, that's so cute that you can call the cows and they come a running. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but I just spent $1,800 in the last 2 weeks feeding cows. What else gonna do with these cows?
Right.
Remember, I had 40 cows, y'all, and I didn't even eat beef.
Right.
I had 40 big pets. And one day I'm looking across the street, the man had 180 cows. And I asked him, I was like, so what do you do with your cows?
Right.
You're in the cattle business. You don't know what to do with these cows? I was like, no, man, I don't. I just know I should have them.
Right.
He told me you need to sell by the pound. And it finally clicked one day that I, as a farmer, could take my cow I raised to a place and they would process it with the USDA stamp, vacuum seal it, put the weight on it, and I could actually sell that piece of meat. It was like an eye-opener, like, wow, so the people in the grocery store selling meat are actually farmers, you all. It's not the grocery store that made their own cows. That was a farmer that they got a contract with. Then it's like, okay, how do I become the farmer to get the contract? So now I think they call it the backwards design, right? So now I'm working myself backwards. Okay, now I need to grow cows with the intention of selling this to the grocery store. Hold up. What if I go get a contract from the grocery store for them to buy a set amount of meat from me at a set amount of time? So now those cows over there are called Publix. Them 3 cows over there is called Kroger's. Them 3 cows are called Save-A-Lot. And them 3 cows are called Farmers Market. So now I'm growing intentionally because I see what the end result is. So inside of Acre Boyzz Farming, y'all not going to be guessing. I'm going to walk you to the end result.
Right.
You don't have to go through all those trials and tribulations and and not knowing and driving to places. And they're like, no, you got to bring a 10 cow minimum here, right? Or you're trying to take your pecans and you don't know that you have to halve the pecans or de-shell the pecans and then vacuum seal them and then get a certain label. You don't know what a cottage license is because you've been cooking at home, but you don't know you're really supposed to have a license. But then you get something called a cottage license. We can show you how to get the cottage license. So now you can take that product and you can properly sell it. So those nuances that we've had to go through, and it's so many that I probably have forgotten, but inside of the course, you guys are going to get a chance to pull it out. And one thing we don't do with Acre Boyzz Farm, we don't gatekeep. It's 96,940,000 square miles. It's enough land out here
for everybody.
Yeah, we ain't got to worry about, man. If you tell the man how to do that watermelon, man, ain't nobody. Brother, do you know how much watermelon is growing right now?
Right. For sure.
Don't worry about it, man. Everybody, it's enough out here. Everybody can get their piece of it. And the beautiful thing in Acre Boyzz Farming, we're going to show you where you can carve out your niche, and then you will be successful in your niche market.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%, Pat. You know what I mean? Because one powerful thing I heard before was like they said, faith and fear require you to believe in something that you can't see, but most people will choose fear. Both. You can't see either one, but most people choose fear. And the reason is because people naturally gravitate to things that are negative and fear-based. You know what I mean? So here's what the most important part about that. The most important part about that is this. Now, they don't have to be fear-based anymore because now you're actually walking through with somebody who's already conquered that fear and can show you how to walk through the same thing. There's no guessing. There's no trying to figure it out on your own. That is the power of mentorship. Somebody has already walked that path already. So why figure it out yourself when it's already been designed and laid out for you?
Yes.
What I need y'all to do, if you're on Instagram, comment the word farming, right? All this information, everything that you hear tonight. This will be released Sunday, June 15th, We'd love to have you inside of our organization. It is important to be a part of a tribe, especially with a venture like this. You want to be in close proximity with somebody that's going to hold your hand. Community is how we build. I seen somebody in the comments saying we can do anything as long as we're together. So that is what we're putting together. We're organizing. We're putting a community-based program together. This will be a reasonable price. It won't be thousands of dollars for this information. This will be for the everyday person. So if you're on Instagram, comment farming to get on the wait list. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, the link is in your messages. You can click onto that, get yourself signed up to the wait list. How the wait list will work, we will only be taking 100 for the first week because, as I stated, which I'll reiterate, that we want to bring people in, make sure all systems are working right. We want to train those people, get an idea of the flow of how our trainings are going to go, what the questions are. We're going to build out a FAQ section because we don't know what you want to know. We don't know what people want to grow, but we'll find all that out once you come inside, and we'll cater to the most common things that people say that they want to grow. We'll put everything together. So we're going to cap it at 100 just so we can service you on the highest level as possible. Then we'll set a date to where enrollment will be reopened.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And I think
it's not redirecting. It's acreboyzfarming.com. www.acreboyzfarming.com, and that can get you on the waiting list.
Yeah, one of the beautiful things that I'm excited for the community once they get inside the course is I've been able to see the farming from a couple of different sides. Of course, initially, we got the farm, and I was like, yes, I'm going to be that dad, that creates the generational space. My daughter going to build a house over here. My son, I'll give him 11 acres over there. My other son, to get 5 acres over there, right? My grandchildren will be able to just frolic through the grass up to granddaddy sitting on the porch, sipping some lemonade, watching the hummingbird, right? Mm-hmm. Like all that's the plan. In the interim, though, you all, I learned how much our people just did not know. And so people would come by the farm, and I would say, rub the cow. And it was so much fear. I was like, I can't touch it. Just touch the cow, man. Just rub the cow's head. It's an animal, right? Right. And I'm from the inner city. I'm East St. Louis, Illinois. I'm from the hood, y'all. This farming thing is truly faith. Right? Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up with cows and horses in my backyard by no means. Stray cats and squirrels is what I grew up with, right? Sure. But allowing people to remove their fear opened up an area for me to see, like, we have to teach this to our people. You don't know how many professionals that I've had to tell, like, no, you only get 1 egg per day per hen. Well, I heard somebody say they get 6 eggs a day. That means they got 6 hens. They don't get 6 eggs with that 1 hen, right? No, the rooster is really a male chicken, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like, the rooster is not a different breed of animal. It's the male chicken. That cock-a-doodle-doo means that there's a rooster, right? And no, they don't have live chicks. They lay eggs. And then to get that egg to hatch, the girl has to go broody, meaning she has to sit on those eggs, a clutch of eggs, for a minimum of 21 days for those to hatch. That's real, okay? And when you see people with a baby chick, that means that they took the fertilized eggs. And you don't get a fertilized egg, you don't have a rooster. But yes, you will get a hen every day, but it's not going to be, you'll get eggs every day, but until you have a rooster, it's not a fertilized egg, right? Male, female, yard pimp, fertilized egg. Okay, anyway. So you can take those.
I should have let you teach that. I knew that.
See, right there. So you can take those fertilized eggs, you can put them in an incubator, and that's what children do at schools, and and they'll hatch, or the female will hatch them herself. Now, those chickens that you get from the Tractor Supplies and all that, If you bring that home, it's going to take 16 weeks at a minimum, depending on the breed, before they're mature enough to begin to lay eggs. Okay. So my question is, if you wanted a dozen eggs in your family in a week, how many chickens would you need?
Oh, you taking them to school, Pat. It's like a trick question.
Yeah. So you want a dozen eggs?
Somebody throw it in the chat. Somebody throw it in the chat.
Put it in the chat now. Put it in the chat. You want a dozen eggs?
Trick question, people. He just gave you a whole breakdown and the synopsis of how it works. Y'all drop it in the comments. Let me make sure y'all paying attention.
Right?
If you don't get this right,
yeah, if
like,
you don't get this, just
I don't remember the name, and you're gonna be disqualified. You can't come to
this. Yeah. But that's the very simplistic thing that we'll be doing. And oh, there we go. Somebody got a dozen. Okay, a dozen. So yes.
So, let me answer this question because I'm looking on Instagram, and DJ Cashville said we had 15 chickens, but the rooster kept trying to kill them all. We only have 4 chickens left. What is that about?
Okay, if you had 15 chickens, you probably went to this. I'm guessing y'all bought some from Tractor Supply or wherever you bought them from, and the rooster tried to kill them all. That means that you even had more roosters than you thought, right? So basically, he was saying, "Hey, it's one king out here. So these young roosters, I'm going to kill," or they were so young that he was breeding them, and in breeding them so young, he actually probably was killing them. And then I would say, make sure the rooster killed them, because it could have been something else killing them. And then you saw the rooster, because the rooster it's a beautiful thing, man. Like, nature's amazing.
No, so the rooster, 50 females, 1 rooster.
50 females and 1 rooster? No, he should have been having fun. Hey, bro, he good. yeah, he should have been having fun. So that means something else. Now, if that rooster, here we go again. You got to be careful. If that rooster is a rooster that has come from a flock where they've been fighting, or a game rooster, like what kind of rooster was it? Because he's aggressive, and I don't do aggressive roosters. I tell y'all that now. I had one that jumped up and put his spurs in my daughter. He didn't see the next sunrise. So we don't do, and Ray and Jay has been at the farm. Everything on our farm has to be copacetic. Right. So my roosters are walking around now. They know if Dad look at you twice, right, that's a sign. So if Dad walk by, just turn your head like, Debo, leave alone. Because I don't do aggressive roosters because I have too many children around. But that's what that sounds like. That might have been an aggressive rooster. If you have a picture of it, that person on Instagram, you have a picture of it, you still do. Take a picture of it. Let's look at that breed of rooster, because we can help you determine. So to our audience, just know that's the kind of guidance and questioning that we're going to be doing inside of our community, right? So if you're thinking about, hey, I want to add a rooster, put it in the chat first, right? We'll talk about it, talk about the breed, talk about how many girls you have, talk about the space you have, talk about, are you going to let the rooster free range and keep the girls in the coop? All those different scenarios, we'll get a chance to talk about it inside of our course.
Good deal. I mean, Sunday, June 15th.
That's right.
This is what you're getting. Expert information. The guy has a wealth of knowledge. He's been doing this. In fact, not been doing this. He's doing this on a daily basis. He lives on the farm. You won't stun us with a question. And if we don't know, we'll go and find out. But he's been through a lot. That's all I say that to say that. He's been through a lot of trials and tribulations. And he's definitely worthy. We didn't want to just bring anything to you. So we went out and found an expert in the arena of farming, and I'm super excited. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the concept. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of the program. And I can't wait for it to drop, because we're going to be in the class with you as students. And it feels good to be coming from the student capacity and the student side, because we get a chance to just kick back and watch and learn at the same time as you. I said it on a live the other day. I'm interested in growing herbs, and I can't wait to get started so I can start to put my herbs in my teas and things like that.
Yeah, raised teas. You got a ring to it, raised teas.
Yeah, that's right. That he going after the tea.
I'm not trying to sell them. I just personal use for me. I'm going for the herbs.
Right. So I think for everybody listening, a lot of time has been put into bringing the best possible product to the marketplace. Just making sure that the right shot, that we're actually going through with descriptions. We even have modules in there where we're actually going to the store and showing you exactly step by step what you need to do, what kind of fertilizer you need, from A to Z to everything. So I just want y'all to pay special attention into the actual care that was put into it, because we do. And here's the best thing about this, right? The better that y'all do, the better it looks for us, because when those testimonials come, it acts as a magnet to bring other people in. So of course we're going to put out the best product that can possibly be made. Like Ray said, this is why we go seek out the experts inside of their field who understand and have so much experience inside of it, and they know what they're doing. And now the only thing we're going to do is transfer the knowledge over to you, so you can go ahead and rinse and repeat the same thing that's already been figured out.
And off the record, I just want to say that I think this is necessary. I think this is very important for the culture. It gives us something positive to look forward to. Acre Boyzz' whole mission since we came on the scene has to be just to make this be normal. Let's make this the new normal. Buying land and farming. Let's just make this the new normal. Let's make this not such a taboo thing. Let's make this the new cool thing to do, because our vision for all of this is to have a whole community of people buying land and farming. And then every year, even in our community, we have a gathering at least once a year. When our farming community, we'll probably have more than one gathering, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, where we'll gather and we can cultivate our own farmers market or something of that nature. We haven't spelled it out all the way. But me and Jay were talking today, and around the area that we at, they have what they call a grill fest. So where they have a competition to where they rent out about maybe like a 20-acre, Jay, something like that. Yep. So on like a 20-acre plot, and across the country, people come and they have a cook-off. And they're grilling out there. These are people that's into the chef industry, and they all cooking out, and they open it up for people outside to come in and taste the foods. And it's a bunch of herbs and smells that's in the atmosphere from miles away. People coming from everywhere to participate on this. They got their lawn chairs. We can do that same thing. We can do those same things. Finding the land. We have land. We're in ownership of land. We can set that up. If we wanted to do that now, we can do that. But we want to put you in position to start farming. So when we start to have our farmers market in a grill fest and things like that, you can come with your own stuff that you have already grown and say, here's mine, and participate on that. Clearly, we haven't spelled that all out, but we want to start to do things like that. And I always equate it to same thing as the music scene. Same way they have music festivals. We can have farm festivals. And have the information there where we're talking about how to buy land, how to put you in position to buy land. And if you're on this call and you own land of any substantial amount and you don't know how to get your farm started, we also teach that. We teach you how to start if you have the land. We teach you how to start your farm, even if you have land, whether that's on 1 acre or whether that's on 20 acres. And we get asked, we put a post out today. Ezekiel Elliott, the football player, Patrick has helped his dad. What do you have? A 64-acre property. He helped him not cultivate. He helped him get his ranch started, and he's been helping him over the last 10 years with his ranch. Right. So we can help regardless of any size that you have. If you're looking for the information, you have one of the best that I've ran across. Not that I know of many, but I know what my spirit tells me. The guy is genuine, and that counts for a lot. Once you mix expertise with a genuine spirit, that's the kind of company that I want to be around. And that's the kind of company that I want you to be around. So June 15th, we'll open up our doors this Sunday for you to come in, be a part of our community, be around some like-minded individuals. And our saying for Land and Legacy or Acre Boyzz is invest in dirt. It's a clean way to make money. Our saying for Acre Boyzz Farming is let's grow together.
Let's grow together. And you know what's beautiful about this combination is someone literally can be introduced to Acre Boyzz Farming on a post, our social media, etc., and say, you know what, I want to get land and I want to start farming. Instead of just being lost, you literally could send a message to Acre Boyzz and say, I'm ready. I want to get land in this particular area. Get me as close to this, and I want to farm. Like, that's such a reality that it could be done within months. Yeah. I have people say, man, you know, in 4 or 5 years, I'm gonna get a farm. Why are you waiting so long?
Right.
Why you wait 4 or 5 years? No, you don't. Acre Boyzz, you get the land. Acre Boyzz Farming, we show you how to farm. And in a couple seasons, you are talking about and bragging about your cucumbers that you grew at the next family reunion. Like, that is a reality. And this team is going to show you how to do it.
For sure. And they say, Pat, that getting ready is what they call a stalling tactic, a con game you play on yourself, a mental con game. You already been in position, you know what I mean, to go ahead and go to higher levels. The decision is what was missing. The decision to do it. You know what I mean?
Wow. I see somebody in the chat ask about a different breed, Jay and Ray, of chickens. Okay. And yes. So you have something called meat birds, okay, and then you have your egg layers. Okay. The meat birds, basically, you're going to harvest them at a very young age. Okay. Most food that you consume is male. All right. So drop it. I hope I can bust anybody's bubbles, but most everything you're eating is a male. Okay. And so just imagine if, no matter if it's a cow, sheep, chicken, you know, whatever, if we consumed all the female breed, then who's producing the babies, right? So most of the chicken that you're eating are the male chickens. Most is lamb, is most of the male, etc. Because we have to protect the ladies because they bring the future, right? Mm-hmm. Now, that chicken that you're eating at your local fast food or, you know, in the grocery store, it was harvested at a very young age, you know, 6 to 8 weeks. I saw a video the other day, man. They went from 14 weeks to 12 weeks, and now they're getting it ready in like 8 weeks from birth to, right? That's a whole nother story. But we're going to be able to show you in your backyard, your subdivision backyard, or your condo garage, how you can raise your own meat birds. Right? We're going to show you how to raise quail in 6 weeks. They're ready to harvest, but that's a natural 6 weeks. We're going to show you how you can take a meat bird in the backyard with a mobile chicken coop. Your backyard is 0.25 an acre. You're going to move it every 2 days. And in a matter of 12 weeks, you can fill your freezer up, you know, and then you got your herbs on the side because you learned, just like Ray did, you build your raised bed with your herbs. So you harvesting your chicken, you taking them in, you clean it, and you season with your own oregano. Like, how fresh is that? Okay. You got your tomatoes over there that you can pull. You got your squash over there. So yes, in your garage, I can show you how to do it. And so these are multiple opportunities that we're excited to share because it's doable. And that's the word I want to, like, if there's a word I want to leave for today's call, is it's doable, right? Everything that we're talking about is depending on, you got to hit the lottery. It's depending on, you got to meet the next person. You got to wait on a grant to happen. No, everything that we're talking about and everything we're going to show you is extremely doable. There's nobody on this phone call right now that doesn't already have 2 5-gallon buckets or can go to the store and spend $10 and get 2 5-gallon buckets. And if you can't find enough soil, I'm going to tell you to go outside the next time it rains and go as close to a tree and pick up all of that mud that you think is mud that's right around that living tree. And we're going to take that and put in the bucket. We're going to let it dry out and we're going to put some seeds in there. And now you got free soil. And it's going to have worms in there. And so they're going to aerate it. And they're going to have microorganisms. So they're going to feed your plant. Like that. It's doable, y'all. And so we're going to show you all how to jump in and get going. And then we're going to backfill with the expertise.
See, listen, y'all, you got to understand something. We are music adjacent. What he just gave you was a rap verse. I don't know if y'all caught it.
That was a couple balls. That was 10 balls.
That's a fact.
You know, the cool thing about my son just passed by. He had to take some water to the horses for me, to some other horses, right? He's 20, but guess what? He learned how to drive when he was 12 at the farm. Right. He's been driving the golf carts. He's been driving the tractor. I ain't had to worry about him crashing. We put him in the middle of like 10 acres and here's the drive, here's reverse, go forward. Just don't run into this creek, son. Right. So now tasks that I used to have to do because he grew up on a farm, you know, he can do it. Now listen, this young man, he been trying to apply for jobs, y'all, right? But he gets frustrated because everybody pays $12 to $15 an hour. I'm just giving y'all a little farming for profit.
Come on.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we had our farmer's market. And so I went ahead and invested $185 for him. And I bought watermelon. I bought the watermelon from the wholesaler. And I got 42 watermelons for $185 at $7. So the farmer's market that I manage, he don't have to pay a vending fee. And no other vendors pay vending fees in my farmer's market. So he comes there with his 42 watermelons and he sells them for $12 to $15. Right, so he cleared over like $580. He had to give me my $185 back. Right, but he made that in 3 hours. So he keeps applying for jobs where they say $12 to $15 an hour. You get paid every 2 weeks. He's like 2 weeks. So he has a little sign that says children's horse rides, $30, 15 minutes. Children. So yes, mom, summertime, dads, they're gonna pull up. They're gonna say, "Oh, I want my child to get." Most of them want to take a picture, but anyway. They'll get a picture for 15 minutes and $30. And he's making that in his front yard. So this course is being released on June 15th, which just happens to be Father's Day. And I was always taught that a father should be moving his family farther in life. Wow. So this farming opportunity has allowed me to propel my children farther than I will ever get with skills that I've learned that I didn't have before I got to the farm. And so what I'm saying to the moms out there and to the dads, inside of this course, we're guaranteed to help you move farther than where you are right now. Now, if you're already on 1,500 acres and you all been farming for 50 years and it's your 9th generation, this might not be the course for you. But the person who keeps saying, I want to grow, I want to start, I want to grow, I don't know how, this is the course for you. And we're going to hold your hand and walk you step by step to harvest.
Listen, right. If they're not clapping for you, I'm clapping for you right here. I love that. I love that. And here's the before you go, Ray, one more thing, right? All of this, and this is why this is all falls in line with what the Acre Boys do as far as primary resource, as far as land, right? Because anything that we're talking about on this call is not possible without having the dirt. That's it. Period. That's it. Primary resource. Period.
Yeah. You own it.
All right, we're approaching that time.
Okay,
this has been fun.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you heard something that piqued your interest. So I'll reiterate what you need to do. This drops Sunday, midnight, Saturday. It drops, right? Headed into Sunday. Get yourself on the wait list. Unfortunately, because we have quite a lengthy wait list. I'm just letting you know. We will only be able to service the first 100. And we stated why, because we want to make sure we're catering to the first 100, make sure all systems are right, and make sure and get an idea even on our end of how we want our classes to flow. Sure. So we'll only be taking in the first 100, and then we'll talk with each other about when we're going to reopen the enrollment process. So I want the people that's been on this call, I want you to be in that first 100 because you got an idea of what this is going to be like. And this is going to be fun, right? And bring your children. You can, as Pat said, you can do this with your children. It probably would be best if you do it with your children, if you have young children. I'm going to introduce my daughters to it, and hopefully they gravitate to it. I know my 9-year-old, she's going to gravitate to it because she likes to grow and things like that. So bring your children, and this is what it's about. Make this the new normal. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are strongly and we're pushing diligently to continue to push this word out because we are underserved in this community. We are last, people. And land ownership and farming, we are in last place. This culture is in last, right? When it comes to farming, I don't even think we exist. We own less than 1% of all farmland. So let's not ponder on that. Let's be solution-based. And when we're being solution-based, the best thing that we can do is just dive in and be active. So Acre Boyzz Farming and Acre Boyzz are for you. Sunday, you'll have the opportunity to come into the community, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. Comment Farming. The link is in the bio on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, Farming. Before we get out of here, comment if you haven't already. Comment, and we'll be going live Sunday. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your Friday evening, whatever you're doing. Be safe, and much love.
One more thing before we get out of here, we got to hit them with the taglines. It's two we got now. We added one for Acre Boyzz Farming. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say it. Ray know the other ones. So we always leave y'all with invest in dirt.
It's the cleanest way to make money.
Let's grow together.
Come on, stop playing.
And look, y'all tune in to Acre Boyzz Instagram and Farming Instagram in just a second. This ain't no flex, y'all. This ain't no flex. But we just bought 2 emus, so I'm about to go film them getting out the trailer, and we're gonna post it tonight. So we ain't capping, right? This not that capping course. So I'm gonna show you all these emus, and then we're gonna put it on the Acre Boyzz and Acre Boyzz Farming page. That's what you can do when you got land. Invest in dirt is the cleanest way to make money. Let's grow.
That's right. Let's grow.
All right. Good night, people.
All right, y'all. All right.